I'm going to call the meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. for the June 20th meeting. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you to our police officers, our firefighters, members of our first responders who have been out there making sure that everyone is safe on the roads. We want to thank them all. Londonderry residents who are serving our military overseas. And yeah, just anyone that's keeping the residents of Londonderry safe this summer, especially with the heat wave that we have coming in right now. Thank you to all those who are keeping Londonderry residents safe. All right. Let's kick off the meeting. So first, public comment, and seeing as we have a packed crowd today, it's looking so no public comment. So we can move on to committee business, so liaison reports. So first, the schools. Dave, you want to start?
I just read the email from Sarah about this rebranding thing. I will be looking at that tomorrow.
Okay.
Not sure why.
All right. Jason?
No. Other than logo looks great.
All right, so town council, Sarah.
I have two things.
Awesome.
Okay. So the town council approved tasers for the police for $64,000 a year. First year being paid by ARPA funds.
Nice.
Apparently, it was a good deal. So
And with it paid with the ARPA because we have to use that money up soon.
exactly. Yep. And then secondly, the Lions Hall committee was formed, and there are 10 people appointed.
Yeah, that's good. They'll be
So we'll be listening to the Lion Hall Plans Committee going forward.
definitely, yeah, especially with not knowing if they're going to want to put it on the warrant again this year and what price tag that they want to attach with that. Jason, that's all from you?
Yeah.
Jason, anything else from them? Okay. DPW, Dave.
I know we put up the Rotary and Dave Wally and Company. We put up the signs up for all the students.
Nice.
That was a fun 5 hours of, it was a beautiful day for it. Taking them down, I don't know who did, but I thank them for taking them down. I was involved from the Rotary side of putting them up, but Dave Wally did an awesome job about mapping it out, counting telephone poles to a T. And the only decision we had to make is like, are we gonna put the last person at the top or the next,
Right.
top and bottom? That's all we had. So he was spot on, had the pavement marked for everybody where to start. So excellent job from their perspective.
Awesome. And sorry, Kate, I skipped over you. Town hall.
Yes. So town hall, it looks like we're going to come in under budget for the year. All of the money that was not spent for this year will be rolled into the undesignated fund balance, and Justin is working on closing out the financial year. And then next month we'll start working on figuring out what's going to be coming up for us in the upcoming fiscal year. So.
Phenomenal. And from the police department, from Chief Bernard, they are coming under budget still, and that's due to open positions, the townwide hiring and spending freeze, and he just said just keeping being fiscally tight throughout the year. They are currently at 60 officers, soon to be 62, more on the way. They're shooting for 64 to 65 by year end. And they are looking to fill the prosecutor role next month. Also, the dispatch remodel that we got to see when we went on our tour is coming to a close, and it's going to be under budget, and that's due to some grant funds that they received and ARPA funding as well. So that's all I have from the police. Next, fire department. Ryan?
So curious, I know
Yeah.
the last time we talked to the police, they were talking about another detective. What ended up happening with that?
I'll ask the chief.
Yeah, okay. Fire department, they came in slightly over budget, about $30,000 over budget, or at least they're projected to. But considering where they were mid-year, and the fact that it's a $9 million budget, that's, I think, actually a success story, and it's good to hear, Kate, that the town in general is coming in under. So, no real updates other than that from the fire department, business as usual.
Okay. And then we've got CIP from Pat. He told me that their first meeting is this upcoming Monday. So when we meet again in August, we'll have our first CIP report.
Person only,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's it? Okay. I don't know that. So yeah, so we'll have our first and only CIP report for our August meeting. That closes out the liaison reports.
Do you want an update for the planning?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, planning board, yes.
Not a lot of new, at least I would say, financially impactful projects that were discussed. They did revisit I think it's 96 units over on Gilcrest. Traffic obviously being the main concern, but they did conditionally approve their site plans. So that is front end person, I guess, moving forward. But the one major update is they are creating a committee to look at the master plan. So I think it's coming up on 10 years since we've done the master plan. It was 80 some odd items. They're recommending that we tone that down significantly and focus on, a dozen or so major projects or very high, beneficial projects for the town. I think of the 80 some odd projects that were in the master plan from 10 years ago, they've completed 26 or something like that. Or no, I'm sorry, they've only completed 7. I think 26 are in progress and 13 are no longer applicable. So more than half haven't even been touched. So they think they bit off a little bit more than they could chew. So now they're gonna really tone it down and focus on some higher impact stuff. But that's it from planning board.
Okay.
Anything about the library?
Nothing from the library for me for now. For August, I'll have something more for us. So I'll let you know what I have asked them that I'm looking to hear back, because we want them to try to get their stuff in line with when it comes to salary increases with the towns. I asked them about salary banding, what that looks like for their employees, and just their what their plans are going to be, and then just try and figure out how do we talk the trustees into bringing their salary increases in line with town.
Yeah.
Townwide, because I think that's fair, and we talked about it in during last budget season, that it would be fair to have all town employees on the same, and that just, it just helps out the taxpayer, with that such, and yeah, that was my big thing, it's just
Yeah.
with salaries. And I also want to ask them about G-Milks and how the implementation is, what services that they haven't been using that they've been paying for already. Because if they can make some cuts, if there are redundancies between G-Milks and what they've already been providing from the library, like you don't have to pay for the same thing twice. So I'll be looking to get some answers on that.
You were gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say, on the salaries, it might be good information to know if they did do a round of salary increases between budget season and now, to understand what those were, because I think what they budgeted, I think they get 3% cost of living and then 5% merit is what we kind of push back on.
Yes.
I'm curious to see how they calculate merit, if they just give it across the board.
Right.
Or if they actually do put in some sort of performance evaluation and how they assess that.
Yeah, definitely. I can follow up with that as well then.
Cool.
All right, and is there any other? So that concludes the liaison reports. All we have left is the DPW, but since we have some time, that starts at 7. Is there anything else that you guys would like to either discuss? Anything that you're looking at for going into budget season? Is there anything else that we should be either individually or as a board taking a look at within our respective either
So,
departments or others?
Yeah, the only thing I would bring up for the master plan committee, they are pulling representatives from different boards. They did not bring up the budget committee, so I don't know if we want to recommend that Patrick reaches out to them and if anyone wants to volunteer to be part of that workshop, so that we have an idea of what they're looking at down the road, and might help us make better decisions through the budget process if we understand the big needs down the pike.
No, that is a good idea. We should have someone either, if not on there, if we can't get anyone on there, at least have one of us attached, watching them as they go through their process. That's good. Anything else?
Yeah, a couple questions. Kate, did they mention what, the undesignated fund balance is roughly?
At this point, no. The last time, Justin and I weren't really able to touch base pretty quickly. I've had to take 2 trips out to Indy this month for work as opposed to my normal 1 trip, so it's been a little bit chaotic. So we just had a very brief phone call about it. But the last time we talked, it was around like I want to say like 6.5-ish million. But when I met with them back in May, I don't know if Patrick gave you all my notes, they were actually adding almost double what they anticipated into the undesignated fund balance because of the interest rates being so high. And because when the interest rates are high for savings, if we have a big amount in the undesignated fund balance, we can basically get money for nothing just for having a lot of money. It operates the same way as our own savings accounts do, essentially. So we went over budget for the interest that we were accruing. So I don't know what that is now, but I would imagine it would be. I think he said we were at like 1.2 million. I would have to go back to my notes to look at it. But it was definitely over $1 million for this year in interest that we accrued in the undesignated fund balance for the year. So. We're doing great, undesignated fund balance wise, but again, yeah,
Is there any way to give that back to the taxpayers?
that's a possibility. So it's the undesignated fund balance is always a tricky thing. Especially when interest rates are high, it might make more sense for us to keep a high balance, maybe give it back to the taxpayers when interest rates dip down again. But if we can generate money from nothing simply by keeping money in there, it might make more sense for us to keep a good chunk of that in the undesignated fund balance, if at all possible. At least in my brain, that's what makes the most sense. But and I'm sure that's probably what Justin would recommend as well.
Yeah. My only concern is like, all right, what would be the next, quote unquote project that someone wants to push and.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And it's like, all right, do we really need? I like the idea. Yeah, interest rates are high.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, would I really want to touch it? Because I think it's an advantage to us. Because it's $6-7 million at whatever 5%.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's something reasonable.
Yeah.
Versus,
Exactly.
If we just gave it all back to everybody, yeah, it's a short-term impact. But if the rates stay high, then we keep getting that every year.
Compound interest. Yep.
It
Exactly.
just keeps piling up, and
Yep.
it's like, all right, so at least we can explain that to them.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah,
Again,
and
depends
in the
on what it's
past,
gonna be used for.
right. And then my biggest concern is, how we use it. Like I look at what, where we spent the money for over there on 102 and High Range. I know we got half the money from grants for that piece of property, but it's like, can anybody ever build there?
I don't know.
That's
Yeah.
that's my question. But yeah. And then the other thing is for the, for the committee for Lions Hall, did they choose anybody from the budget committee on it?
No, I don't think anyone applied.
No.
Okay, so it's just whoever applied, so
Yeah.
just averages, members of the community.
Yeah.
Yep.
then, of the 10.
Who cares? Yep.
Cool.
Yep. And I with the undesignated fund balance, I recall, and maybe my mind is not working, or it might be something else, but I do believe there's only a percentage in the undesignated fund balance that we're allowed to keep as a percentage of the total overall town budget. Am I remembering that correctly?
I think there's a standard or,
Yes.
A guideline.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you don't have
know
to
that there's
follow
a-
it.
Okay. Okay.
I think we're under it, right?
We are definitely under it. Yes.
I thought we were at it.
I thought we were more.
I might be thinking of the school.
Yeah.
School, they usually, they keep some. I think they have about $1 million last time I
Yeah,
remember.
I think I'm thinking of the school is really short.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then,
Town's healthy.
Yeah, the school is a small amount, but they do have one.
Right.
Yep. Yep. So, but yeah, the undesignated fund balance is always a fun topic of discussion.
And the percentage is really arbitrary.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. I mean, what's reasonable?
Right. Exactly.
All right. So, for upcoming meetings, July we don't have a meeting. August, so for our August meeting, the 15th. Pat's taking a look at. He's trying to arrange a tour with either the fire department or the library. So you
I
try
thought it
and
was SAU.
get SAU or the library, my
There you
bad.
go.
Yeah, SAU or the library. Fire department will be sometime either September or October before budget season.
Okay.
And then on the 21st and 22nd of August, that will be the school tours. So that'll be Wednesday and Thursday on the 4th week of August.
And that's their classic, you know,
Yeah, go through the
Tours,
buildings.
after it's all clean, taking care of all the projects are mostly done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got those coming up.
Okay.
So if anything else from anyone? All right, then we can head on over to the DPW. And they have, the gate is open for us to drive into. And then when Wally gets there, we'll get that tour started up. And we'll close the meeting when we're done with the tour over there.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Are we gonna do the adjournment here or at the
We'll
DPW?
do it at the DPW.
Everybody's going and staying?